Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Music, life, and love. You know what I mean? M. Soto in the building. We got Jazzy Mango in the building. How you feeling?
What's goody, y'all? What's up?
Yeah. I'm loving the aesthetics, the colors, the coordination. You know what I mean?
I do what I can when I can.
We don't see the shoes, but it's all good.
They pink, just in case y'all wanted to know.
Oh, okay. All right. We got to get like a wide angle next time and move the table and all that good stuff and whatnot. Very special day.
Excited about today.
This was like, I don't know, I feel like this was like last minute, but when I was told like, yo, you need to get my guy on because he's, you know, he has an interesting story to capture. I was like, all right, bet. Send me the information. Normally when people tell me about this stuff, they don't really go in detail on who it is. I just be like, yo, listen, I'm going to trust your judgment and whatnot. But when I started to look up his stuff.
My parents were very strict. And then when I got to my grandparents' house, it was just a free-for-all. I had 8 aunts and uncles. The majority of them lived in the house. I never smoked anything. I never drank anything because I witnessed family members do it, and it was always negative outcomes. For me, it was a normal occurrence.
I didn't want Darrell to sell drugs because I didn't want to see him get in trouble. But once I found out, I just didn't even bother asking him why. Just went with the flow because I already knew he's hard-headed. So I was like, I'll show him how to do it the right way.
I was like, yo, let's hurry up and get him because he'll get busy very soon and we probably won't be able to catch him. Next person I'm about to introduce to y'all is my guy, Darrell Alston. He's in the building.
Y'all. Let's go.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for having me.
How was the drive?
It was good. I needed that moment.
You did?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, lots going on. So I definitely wanted to have that little quiet time. So it's cool.
Oh, okay. I mean, do you like drive down this way often? Like,
No, not at all. I don't even come this way.
You see, I want to say something, but now it's like, damn. Okay. Because anything south of here, you probably just fly to. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, number one, for taking the time to come out here, and then man, that VH1, man,
I
like,
had to watch it twice.
Well, before we even get into it, one of the reasons why I'm here is because I saw a DM that came in. I usually never check my DMs because I have assistants that do that. But for some reason that night, I was like, let me just go see what's been going on. And I saw a message from someone that said, I just saw your VH1 show and I want to slap the hell out of you or something like that. And I was like, what? So I had to like go into the DM to find out who it was, and it was your girl Jazz saying that she wanted to slap the hell out of me.
Wait, so what did you think? I don't even know the background story to that. I don't know how y'all like came.
Nah, like when I watched the show, I was like so frustrated because I was like, here's this dude that's so smart. I could see him doing something more than what he's doing, but I respect what he's doing. And every time you thought he was getting ahead, it was like, nah, he going back to jail.
Yeah.
And then every time he got ahead again, he was going back to jail. So to me, you know, just being around and experience things like that myself, I was like, I know how that feels, like especially like on the other side, not as the, you know, street pharmacist, but as the person that supports that person. It's like, dang, you finally thinking, all right, we good, he's gonna be straight. Nah, he going back to jail.
Yeah, I was a little bit upset at that, a little bit, because
and then the way that they taped it, it kind of made it really seem like he was going to jail. Like, yeah, he's back in jail. He back in jail.
Look,
like, they were highlighting that.
I thought the work release, I thought you would have got it then, but then.
Well, the thing that's funny about that work release story is they didn't let the whole story air. Like, when I got back to the work release center, as you already saw, that, you know, I was supposed to be at the studio. I wasn't. I was out, you know, doing my thing, and I knew that I was going back to jail, but I didn't realize that I still had crack on me. So when I got back to the halfway house or to the work release center, I had drugs on me and a lot of money. So I ended up getting in trouble again and caught another charge on that. And I ended up getting like 10 years probation or something like that. It wasn't not crazy, but it was like 10. Yeah, it was 10 years probation. And the judge told me if I could stay out of trouble for 5 years, that he'll let the other 5 years go. And when I caught my second case, it was literally like at the 5-year mark. You know what I mean? So then I ended up getting sent upstate again. And that's when it just got real. It just got real after that.
It definitely kept getting real.
I just want to know the scene where you and your cousin was in the spot, whoever spot that was, and the boys came in.
Yeah, that was
What
crazy.
was what was going through your mind, because they knew what y'all had?
Well, first of all, again, that was another story that VH1 didn't cover the whole story. I mean, I knew what it was because they didn't have that much time. They only had an hour.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a full hour because, with commercials and all that, you only have like 45 minutes or something like that. And when we actually was at the guy's house, the reason why the police or the detectives or whatever stopped was because they was already doing an investigation on the white dude whose house it was. And they knew that wasn't his car. My car was in his driveway. So they just pulled over just to be nosy to find out like what this car was doing in the driveway, and they saw that his car wasn't there. So they knew that I didn't belong there. So when they knocked on the door, the way that the dude's kitchen was, it was like literally like right in front of the front door. So if the cops would have looked like through the curtain or whatever it was, they would have seen everything I was doing in the kitchen.
Right.
So my immediate reaction was to run. And then, my cousin, he's the kind of person like, man, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, this
Fuck that. They shouldn't be rolling up on us anyway. And he just started going in, and he goes to the door and answers the door. So now I'm like watching him arguing with these dudes, and I'm like, yo, like relax, we're in the wrong here. You know what I mean? So the reason why we got out of there, I know my cousin said something about we escaped by the hairs of our chinny chin chin or whatever, but the reason why we got out was because I called the dude Jeff, whose house it was, and he confirmed to the detectives that we were allowed to be at his house. And dude used to own like some kind of auto repair shop, like a car auto repair shop. And we just lied and said that our car was getting fixed, and dude let us come down to his house while he was working on the car. So that's kind of how we got out of that situation. But as soon as they left, we left. I packed up and got up out of there. Because I probably would be just getting out of jail right now if I'd have got caught with all the stuff that we got caught with.
Dang.
Because it was a lot of work that time. For sure.
I feel like every time that you was in something, it always was like, yo, how did he even get out of this?
Yeah.
And, I want to take it like a little further back than that to you being a child. Like, obviously that wasn't your dream to be a drug dealer.
Nah.
So your dream then was you playing sports. You was a football player. But then you kind of made it seem like that wasn't really what you wanted to do. It was kind of what your parents wanted you to do. So how was home life?
My home life was cool. I had both parents in my house. We lived in a middle-class neighborhood. Everything was good. But like I said in the episode, I would always stay at my grandparents' house because my mom was only 16 when she had me. My dad was 17. So they were still out in the street. So I was able to go to my grandparents all the time and just hang out over there instead of staying home. And then my dad was like a football star, but he didn't go to college because of me. Because when I was born, he gave up his dreams. So he basically wanted me to do what he was doing, and I didn't really want to do it.
Understood.
So for me, I wanted to rap. I had, a record deal when I was like 13, 14, something like that. And I couldn't really do much with it because I was underage. Okay. So the only thing that we can really do is just record. They just kept trying to prepare us for the next big moment.
Let's go back a little bit. 13, 14, how do you even go about getting a record deal? What connections was that?
My uncle's girlfriend was like related to like this big time producer in Philly. His name was Lawrence Goodman.
Okay.
And Lawrence Goodman is the one that found him and his brother found Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff.
Okay.
He actually found. You ever heard of Cool C and Steady B?
Yes.
All right. He found them. The Youngsters. You ever heard of the Youngsters?
No.
All right. Well, those were his kids. They really had a really good career too.
Okay.
So dude was like really known in Philly. And my aunt or my uncle's girlfriend had a connection to him. Okay. So when she seen me rapping and all that, she basically just took my demo over to him, and that's how I got on. Got you.
So okay, 13, 14, you're in high school at this time. You're playing sports, but you really don't want to play sports.
Well, 13, 14, when I first did the music thing, I was in middle school.
Okay, you were in middle school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was still playing football at the time, too.
Okay.
But my passion was really music. So in high school, that's when I started, like, really, really shining in football. And had the opportunity to go to a couple D1 schools, but I was just like, I really want to rap. I don't want to do this. And I felt like, at the time I was blinded by the music because like I thought everyone that rapped was millionaires. So I knew I was good. So I'm like, I'm going to do everything I got to do to be able to make this happen. And then like in the process of me trying to get everything going, Lawrence Goodman and them, they lost their distribution. And then we ended up moving on and doing something else. So at that particular moment, I was just on a chase just to try to get on. And it was like every record label we went to, they just wasn't feeling what we were doing.
Okay.
And I just got to the point where I was like, yo, like I have my own money. I'm just going to do my own thing.
So how did you get your own money at this age?
Well, it wasn't at that particular age, but by the time I turned like 17, 18 or whatever, I had bread. I was selling drugs at that time.
Okay.
So I started selling drugs when I was in high school. And I went to like an all-white high school. And whenever they wanted like weed or something like that, they would come to me because I was like one of the only black dudes there. And it was like where I lived at, I was in that school district, but I would go back to my grandparents' house that wasn't in that school district.
So grandparents' house was lit. That's where you really wanted to be.
That's where I wanted to be. And
You remember what year? You remember what year that was around?
I don't want to divulge on that because I don't want people to know how old I am.
Okay.
Oh. All right, we go. All right, but not. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So, when it came time for that, it was weird because at my parents' house, I had my own room, TV, turntables, I had everything I wanted in my room. But then I would go to my grandparents' house where I'm sleeping with my aunt in bed. You know what I mean? Because we all it was like 8 of us in a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
So it was like, I was always around all my aunts and uncles and cousins and all that. But it was like she said, it was just lit. Like the whole neighborhood was lit. Everything that was going on was just popping there. But where I lived at, it wasn't like that. So that's the reason why I was like, I'd rather have been over there. And plus, people knew me too. Like I did live in like a black neighborhood that was like similar to where my grandparents lived at.
Okay.
But it wasn't like that. Like I knew people better at my grandparents' house rather than where I lived at. That's the best way I could put it.
Wow. Okay. So they gave you a little bit more freedom then.
A lot more freedom.
More range to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And plus you got your aunts and uncles there, so it's like everything is not so laser focused on you.
Yeah.
It's so many different people to like.
And then it was crazy too, because like the youngest of my mom's brothers and sisters, they're twins, and they're only 10 years older than me. So it was like everything I saw my uncle doing, I wanted to do it too, because I thought that dude was the coolest dude ever. You know what I mean? So it was like I was trying to emulate everything he was doing, and I just started to gravitate towards the wrong things.
So how did the music, the influence for the music, was it just something that you just felt was like, you know what, this is in me, or is it like, you had somebody that you was like, you know what, I want to do what this person is doing, like something?
Nah, the music, I felt like the music was in me. I felt like, whenever I sat down to write something, I just felt like it felt good putting my life on paper.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the best way I can explain it, but it was like, there was a lot of people in my neighborhood that rap, but no one actually took it as serious as I did. That's the reason why I was one of the only ones from my neighborhood that actually officially got on.
That made it to.
Yeah.
So can you explain to us when you say like officially got on, like were you on tour? Who did you get to meet? What was the industry like at that time? And around, I'm assuming you're like 20 around-ish?
Yeah, at that time, the music industry was crazy because it was all about being real and trying to get money.
Right.
Like this era of hip hop today, I don't get it because it's like everyone's talking about getting high and all that. Back when I was coming up, everybody was talking about doing whatever you had to do to make money. So for me, I think that the era was cool. When I say getting on, I mean I actually got signed to a couple of different major labels. And in the process, I met pretty much everyone. Like, Lil Kim, LL, Nelly, Saint Lunatics. I mean, everybody that you could possibly think of that was popping at that time, I met on. Wu-Tang, Raekwon, you know what I mean? Like, my photos are crazy. I have a ton of photos backstage when I was, doing the music thing. So, everyone that you could possibly think of, anywhere from like, maybe like 98 to like 2002 I met.
Okay. So
that's the best range I could
Damn,
say.
that was
that's a lot of
time though.
It's the golden.
Yeah.
That's a golden age. Right
Absolutely. So how was tour life? Like, what was that like?
To me, I
drugs,
thought that it was cool, but it wasn't what people thought. Cause like the way that my situation was, is it was like we would go there, we would get there a couple hours before, do our sound check or whatever, do the performance. I might be able to hang out a little bit just to watch the main act go. But then after that, we was right back on the road and leaving. So I didn't get a chance to like really mess with a bunch of girls or go places. We were lucky if we would get a chance to go to the mall or something to get some clothes.
Damn.
Yeah,
But for the most part, man, we was in there washing our drawers in the sink. You know what I'm saying?
So it was fast paced.
Yeah, like for real. Like it was, it wasn't like what everyone thought because we had to keep getting on the road and going to the next state. So I didn't get a chance to even really get a chance to even see what the state was even really hitting for.
Wow.
And then every once in a while, you might be able to go to an after party or something, but like everything was like super tight knit, where it was like you had to just jump back in the car and go to the next spot. But all my tour stuff was always short lived because I always got locked up. So I might get like maybe like 3 or 4 shows in, then I'm gone.
Go.
Yeah, and I'm gone.
So the operation was still running while you was doing what you
Yeah, well, the
doing.
first time I went to jail, that's when my first song is called C Notes and Grants got on the radio, and it was like really hitting in Philly. So right around the time I started doing all my shows and stuff in Philly and New York and all that, I caught my case before that happened. So I already knew that I was going to jail.
Okay.
And that was the reason why I was able to go to court and then have like the DJs and everybody to come to the courthouse to be like, yo, like this dude's an artist. He'd be better on work release and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I initially got the work release. So everything seemed to be good on that first go round. And then when I came home from jail that first time, I started making more money. You know what I mean? I had better connections. And, you know, I wasn't really, a lot of people were asking me like, you know, like, what were you trying to be, Scarface or something? And I really wasn't. Like, I wasn't trying to be like no Kingpin.
Right.
I was trying to make enough money to sustain my music career. And then it was like, once I got enough money to do what I needed to do, one of my friends, which was the dude Damon that was on the show on VH1, he was like, man, we might as well just start a full-fledged label. I got all these artists that's trying to come over. So then I became the CEO of the record label. And then we just started signing people. But now with me signing people, I got to pay for videos. I got to pay for their studio time. I got to pay
Travel.
for everything. So it was like, now I didn't want to tell people I didn't have it, so I had to go get it. You know what I mean? So then, you know, now I'm making all this stuff happen. I ended up getting a sneaker store down South Street, like a customized sneaker store.
Okay.
So like, you know, Busta Rhymes and a bunch of people will come down and get sneaks. And a couple football players and stuff like that. So everything started to boom a little bit then. But then right after I got locked up again.
Okay.
And then it was like when I was in jail that last time, that's when I was like, I got to figure out something else because this isn't it. You know what I mean? And then that's when I started cutting hair.
Oh, okay. So the cutting hair started.
You literally was like, I'm done with being a rapper. Was that your? Like, do you have
because
aspirations of that still today?
Yeah, well, not today. But
Okay.
when I first came home from jail for that 7-year sentence, I didn't do the sneaker thing right away. I did a music thing. I did an album. It was distributed through Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So it's actually on Apple Music right now.
What's the name? Oh, is it? What was the name of the?
The name of the album is called For My Fans.
All right.
It's a number 4, and then the rap name was Fourth Quarter. So that was the first thing that I did when I came home, but it didn't really do anything for me because I didn't have social media, and I didn't know what social media was.
Okay.
When I first got locked up, there was no Facebook or Instagram or nothing like that. And then when I came home, that's all that it was. So when I got my record deals before that, the A&R person was the one that made sure all the music was right. You had a stylist, you had a person that basically guided you, you know, through everything that you did musically. And then when I came home and I signed to Warner Brothers, it was like none of that. It was all on me. I had to figure it out myself. And when I didn't do the social media stuff, they kind of just was like, bro, you got to get your social media right. And at that time, I was like, I'm not doing all that. Because, you know, I still had the drug dealer mentality where it was like, I'm not going to be telling everybody where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I'm still like that to this day. Like, if you look at my social media, I'll post this interview tomorrow because I don't want people knowing where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I am. So it's like, you know, I've always been that way. I always do things. Even with social media now, I do everything after I'm already gone because I don't want anybody rolling up on me while I'm out. You know what I mean? It's not that anyone's looking for me right now. It's just that whole mentality that I had back in the day where you got to try to watch your back. You don't want to get thrown in the trunk of a car or something and being a victim.
3, 4,
You know what
5
I mean?
steps ahead.
Yeah, so I always made sure that I always, you know, kept my privacy private. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really like anyone in my business. So that's why I lost the deal with Warner Brothers. But if you go on Apple Music or something like that, you'll find my album on there.
Okay. So yeah, y'all hear that? Make sure y'all go check that out. Apple. It's probably on Spotify too.
Yeah,
Possibly.
it's probably everywhere.
Yeah. I'm definitely.
I'm a
But I still get royalty checks, so it's doing something.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, so you don't ever get the issues like drop a couple bars.
That's
Not
what
at
I'm
all.
saying.
You don't?
Really?
Oh man.
Nah, you want to know what
not?
it is? I think that, and again, I know I'm going to age myself, but the era that I came up in, lyrics was everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like when you grow up listening to, you know, Jay-Z, Biggie, Raekwon, Ghostface, and dudes like that, and then you listening to the stuff of today, it's like, I don't like how dudes is always depressed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to sing when they rap. Like, I'm just not into that. So I feel like if I try to do something right now, number one, no one's going to really like it because everybody's used to this stuff that they're doing right now. Number two, I hate the fact that they try to say that music has an age to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know the reason why. And I know that I hear people all the time online saying what it is, but I'm just going to be straight up what it is. The record labels do not want older dudes like making music because we're not going to be dumb enough to sign all of our publishing away. We're not going to be dumb enough to sign a deal that's not going to be beneficial to us and our family. When you take someone that's 18 years old, 15 years old out of a messed up situation and you offer them $200,000, they think they rich. And then they turn around and get millions off of it. So they don't want dudes that's older and more mature to get into the game, and they basically put that stigma out there. So when I hear Andre 3000 or Jay-Z or somebody like that say they too old to rap, it pisses me off. Because no matter how old you are, like, first of all, rap is only 50 years old. That's the first thing. And then it's like, no matter what age group that you're at, you should have something to say. If you just talk about what you're going through at this particular moment. So Jay-Z's album, that 444 album, I loved that because I was going through the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I was in the art. I was doing all these, stocks and looking at the world that he did, the same way he did. Like he was talking about, you guys are dying over blocks that you don't even own. That was a deep statement because we're renting these houses, don't even own the houses, and dudes is killing each other over the block. So it's like, listening to stuff like that is more mature for me. Like I'm not into that whole, popping mollies and pink pussies and all that. I don't want to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but it's like I'm a grown ass man, dog. I ain't trying to hear that. Right. Talk about something that's gonna be productive, and especially to the point where it's like when and I know that's kind of hard to say because even when I was coming up and we was talking about selling drugs and all that, the people that was older than us, they wasn't trying to hear that. Like Run DMC and people like that, they was like, man, y'all's killing the culture. So I get it. But to me, it's just like, it's stupid of me to say because it's like, I accept people talking about making money no matter how you got to make it, but I don't accept people trying to promote people getting high. Because I don't think that you should be out here on some zombie shit, getting high and going to the club half high up. Like I just don't believe in that.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So,
okay.
And then I also look at it where it's like if everybody was on point and was making money, there'd be much more businesses if everybody got out of the competition part. It's like, think about how many record labels that are out there right now. If like 5 of them just teamed up and put all their money together and put their artists together, they would have a major label.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clothing brands. If you put 10 people that have a clothing brand and y'all put all y'all money together and put all y'all projects together, it'd be a major clothing brand.
Yeah, that would be dope. Imagine if you grab like a Dame Dash, Irv Gotti, you know what I'm saying, all those guys that have tenure in the game, and y'all just, I always wonder why everybody didn't just all team up.
Like he said, it's competition.
It's ego.
Yeah.
It's like, one of the problems that I see in the industry, like just for me coming up, the main problem is women. You know what I mean? Like dudes keep messing with the same women, dudes are getting sensitive, and it's like, it gets out of control. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know too much about the beef, but like, look at what Chris Brown and Quavo was arguing about. It's like, bruh, y'all can have any woman in this world, both of y'all. Why y'all arguing over her? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bruh. Like, and I seen Drake doing it before, and I seen, wasn't Drake and Chris Brown fighting over Rihanna at one point or something?
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh, like, y'all can have anybody y'all want. Why y'all doing that? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't relate. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've seen a lot of things in the industry, man, and I think that a lot of times people just want to be better than the other person. But the thing that's crazy for me is like, since I've been in this business, I've had the opportunity to work with other races. And when you work with other races, I'll tell you a quick story about that, and it's going to be really quick. When I first got into the business and I first got my investors, they introduced me to this woman. I forget what her name is, but she worked for the Eagles. And she was doing some kind of like promo stuff for the Eagles. And one of my investors was like, well, since she's already in the business, she does the PR stuff, maybe you can go, to her and she can help you out. As soon as I met her, I told her everything that I was trying to do, told her my story, and she was like, yo, I can do it, but I know somebody that's better than me. You know what I'm saying? I'll put you up with him, and then he could take you to the next level. And she introduced me to this other dude and passed up on the money that she was going to get. She could have made $10,000 off of us, but she passed up that and went to this other person and gave it to him. So after I started to build with him a little bit and got a nice relationship with him, I was like, yo, like, homegirl could have made 10 grand, but she ended up putting you up on it and you made the 10 grand instead of her. Did you break her off or anything like that? And he was like, I didn't break her off with this particular job, but I gave her other jobs too. So it's like, do you know somebody that would, do some kind of film work or something, and somebody's offering them $10,000 and they be like, nah, I know somebody better. I'll get you to do that.
And
that's what I do.
Just about to say, me and Soto do this all the time. Like, we always put people, if we feel like somebody else can do a better job, we're always going to throw it to them. Or if it's a situation where we can both capitalize on something, even if they ask for one person, we're always going to do that. And we're from New York.
I literally just did it this morning.
Yeah, like we do this all
I
the time.
literally just did it.
But people don't do the same to us.
My question for y'all is how many
whole,
people do that for
They
y'all?
don't. None of it. So we'll go to people, we'll offer them something in hopes to like build a connection, even knowing that we're way beyond that, let's just say.
Right.
And they'll feel the competition part that they are wherever kind of category they think they're at. Right. And we'll do the work, we'll do whatever the case may be, we're trying to build. And instead of these people, when it's their opportunity to look back, they won't.
Right.
But then they'll end up seeing us all the way somewhere else and reach back out to
Yeah,
us.
of course,
like,
of
hey,
course.
bro, do you, or sis, do you?
Of course.
And it's like, yo, you could have did the alley-oop way back then.
Right.
But because you were in this secret competition with us, you didn't do it. I don't have, to me, there's competitors, there's no competition. So that's what I see. Like, I'm not in a competition with anybody. If somebody could do something better, go do it. If my team is all better than me, I'm grateful for that because that's not my lane. That's their lane, and that's why they're in their position.
But most of the people that would hate on you, though, are people that they're not going to put the energy
100%.
So it's like they don't like the fact
they're not
that you're
traveling
doing it.
everywhere.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not.
Exactly. It's like the same thing with me. Like I have people that do the same thing that I do in my neighborhood. They don't like to see me on TV. But are they going to jump in their car and ride 2 hours to come to a podcast?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like I do all that. Like I stopped working to come up here to talk to you.
That's why I was like,
You know what I'm
damn. I said, Jazz. I'm like, because today I was like, all right, we ready whenever. But when you said that you was gonna do that, I'm like, oh, I'm stopping everything I'm doing. There's two people that I know that they throw me work all the time, and I be like, look, stop. It's Bird and Aaron. And they always throw me work. They always put me out there. I'm like, yo, bro, chill.
But that's a good thing, man.
It is.
Because there's not many people that's going to do that.
At all.
Like, I don't know anyone that does that, except for, like, you know, other races that I deal with. You know what I mean? But, like, as far as, like, people that I grew up with, I don't really see them doing that. Like, especially if they have the opportunity to make the money themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a situation where, you know, you can make, you know, 75, 100, 10 grand real quick, and you know that you're not as talented as someone else, and you be like, you know what, man, I'm going to sacrifice this. I'm going to plug you in with him. That takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? But, like, in other races and other cultures, they do that. And that's the reason why they can stand up and do things together, and we can't. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, when I look at it like this, it's like we don't really have any radio stations that are owned by like any rappers or anything like that. You know, music channels, anything. But rappers to get mad because MTV and BET's not playing their videos. Absolutely. But it's like you have all these rappers throughout the last 50 years that can like team up together and have one TV channel or one radio station, and they don't do it.
Absolutely.
That's true.
I love that.
I know I'm about to jump all over the place, but talk to me about BungeeUSA.com because I went on
That's your
there.
style for sure.
I want to know, but talk to me about the Bungee brand, bro. We really got to talk about that, man.
All right, so I'm going to answer all the questions, so I apologize for the people that are watching because we're kind of all over the place.
I know.
But Bungee Brand was supposed to be like the staple of the company. And I wanted to try to have something kind of like how Amazon is. I'm speaking prematurely, but this is what my initial reaction was. You know how Amazon, they have all kind of different things on it that you can buy?
Yeah.
I wanted Bungee Brand to be like that for clothing. So it was like, I wanted to be able to put other people's brands underneath our brand. So what I was trying to do was, Bungee Brand was the umbrella. I was going to use my name and everything because we got so much publicity from the TV shows and all that kind of stuff that Bungee Oblicheni was going to be the high-end luxury brand. Bungee USA is our sports brand. Then I was going to bring other brands on and just have them all under Bungee Brand.
Just like one umbrella. So that was the parent. That's the parent company, and you was gonna have all subsidiaries.
Exactly. So what I did was Bungee Oblicheni. It did well. You know, we sold. You know, in Neiman Marcus, we sold at Foot Locker. We did a couple different, you know, high-end stores. And then what happened was the economy started to get funny, right?
Okay.
And it just got to the point where people wasn't affording like $600 sneakers. So I was like, damn, like the first time I really got on was when I was selling Eagle sneakers. So I was like, let me try to go back and just see if I could try to, you know, celebrate, you know, the Eagles because they were doing so well at the time. They were 10-1. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get some sneakers made. I'm gonna get some hoodies made, and we ended up dropping it in like on December 1st on my birthday. And by the time December 20th rolled around, we was almost sold out already. So I knew that there was a market for it.
Okay.
And then after the football season was over, I was like, damn, like I really want to continue doing the sports stuff because the era that I came up in, jerseys was it. Like it didn't matter what team it was. If your jersey
dresses,
matched your
everything.
sneakers,
Yeah.
bro, like
Mitchell
so what
and
I
Ness.
wanted to try to do was I wanted to try to do a luxury version of that. I wanted to try to bring those years back.
Okay.
So, you know, like I remember back in 2002 when I used to go back and forth to St. Louis, they didn't have a basketball team. So they didn't have basketball jerseys there. So I would go all the way back to Philly, go to South Street, grab a whole bunch of jerseys, then go back to St. Louis and sell them out there.
Damn.
Like that's how I was getting getting some extra bread out there too. But at the time, like I said, jerseys was it. So I just really wanted to try to create something that would bring that essence back and then also make it where like the younger generation that's coming up can see something fly, but it's still Jersey driven.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like if you go to bungeeusa.com, you'll see that I have stuff that's never been seen before because I created it myself.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so it's crazy. I had to take some of like some of the letters off, like on the back on the green hood. That
I see it.
But I had to take it off, due to trademark infringement. But it's just the fact that I'm just trying to bring something back and trying to bring something new.
The material looks really good. I'm gonna say that.
That's cashmere.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So
okay. I figured.
I wanted to touch on a little bit, basically of some hard times that you had because you mentioned that you had lost all the business funds. I was reading up, like you had lost all the business funds.
Did your homework.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And basically doing the Eagle sneakers got you back on point.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people looking at this, they are people that are at home that might have a brand or might have a aspiration of something, and they're in that space right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel like when you go from being here and you thinking things are rolling and they're gonna keep going and something hits you quick, and it's like all the money that you got is gone?
Yeah. What happened with me, it was a little bit different. I actually started the brand with $50,000 after I got my, I tried to do it on my own. I think I had like $1,500 when I first started. But then when I started to get to a bigger level, I got $50,000 to be able to start. And I didn't do my homework. So, and what I mean by that is, when I put the order in, I didn't know anything about, getting everything shipped over by sea. I didn't know anything about customs tax. I didn't know that customs could take my shipment and hold on to it for weeks and charge me for inventory for being in their storage facility.
Right.
So it was like a lot of different things that took place where I ran through that 50 grand quick, and it was like I had an investor that gave me that. Like this was my very first investor. This is before the other one, and I basically ran through like 42,000 from the rip. And then when the sneakers got back, the company I was dealing with in China, they were giving me samples that looked really good, and then when I placed the big order, it wasn't the same materials. It didn't look the same. So there was no way that I was going to be able to sell that merch. And I still have that merch to this day. I still have it in my office.
Wow.
So what I did was I only had $8 grand left. I did my research, and I found like, if I do, if I fly my merchandise over, I don't have to pay, all that customs tax and, all that kind of stuff that goes through that. And I was like, damn, it costs a little bit more, but I'd rather do that than go through all that BS.
Absolutely.
So I ended up putting an order in for some Eagle sneakers. I only got like 250 of them or something like that. And that's how I made my come up. When they got back, I ended up going out to the Eagle Stadium, the first game of the season, and this is right after they won the Super Bowl, and I sold out in like 2 hours.
Damn.
That's how I got my money back.
I just want to go to the mindset of this because, like, okay, you're doing I'm from the era where like I will do where I'm passing out flyers on people's cars and things like that. I feel like this is the same that you're doing.
Right.
Like you are literally not waiting for anybody to come to you for you to get somewhere. You're like thinking outside the box. Like, listen, I got these Eagle sneakers. I know I might not even have a permit because a lot of people, y'all don't know, you need permits to do certain type of things.
Sure.
In the business, you will get a fine and things like that. But you're like, listen, I'm gonna take my merchandise that I just purchased. I just wasted all of this, 42 grand. I got 8 grand left. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to create a dope product. I'm going to go out to the game and I'm going to sell out. Like in your mind, was there fear there? Or are you just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if it work, it work.
It wasn't no fear. I looked at it where I felt like I didn't want to sell drugs anymore. And I was like, whatever I have to do to try to make it so that I don't have to go back to that, I'm good. So there was no fear. I didn't care about permits. I didn't care if I got arrested. I just looked at it like I got to try to make some money and I got to get this money back. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what my whole thing was. Like, I'm going to get this money by any means, but I'm doing it legally. And that was it.
Yeah, so when you lay down at night, you ain't got to worry about nobody banging on your door.
Right.
But I also, so like the mindset of an entrepreneur, because 3 entrepreneurs in the room, when the money start to run out, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little bit of anxiety. That I'm like,
because it's like you ain't going back to work, so know it's not
right. So it's kind of like, we had a conversation and whatnot, and I kind of told you like, when the money start to get low and you don't really know what's about to happen, you get this anxiety. Like, how did you feel what was going through your mind when your money was running out?
I mean,
and it was other people's money.
You want to know something funny? It wasn't like that. I mean, it was like that more than once. That's why I call my company Bungee, because all the ups and downs. Like, I still go through ups and downs to this day. It's just that it's on a higher level.
But how do you deal with knowing that?
The way that I deal with it, and this has been my motto since I was a kid, I got 24 hours to cry about it. After I cry about it, get back up and do that shit. Make that shit happen. I don't have time to be crying. You know what I'm saying? So when I first get hit with some news that I don't like, or if I see that the shit's not working, I got 24 hours to cry about it. Go ahead. Sit in bed, cry, whatever you're going to do. But when that time is up, you got to get off your ass and go make it happen.
Okay.
And that's what I did several times. So it's like, you know, me being the CEO of a company, even with me being on TV shows, and I was on the Nick Cannon shows, on all these different things, my ass was in that parking lot talking to the customers. You know what I'm saying? I was walking through that Philadelphia Eagles tailgate with jerseys, the cashmere jerseys on my back. If you go to my Instagram page, you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally was walking through the parking lot, getting people's attention. People were coming to me asking me what that was, all that. Like, as a matter of fact, that video that's on the Bungee USA, that's me walking through the, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
you
it was
got
like,
them. Okay.
yeah, and people were recognizing me from being on TV, because I'm always on the news in Philly. So people were recognizing me, but they was looking at the jersey and they was doing all, like, I was, you know, talking to the people. Like, that's how you got to do it. I couldn't be too cool and be up in the office not making no moves.
Absolutely.
So it's equivalent to what you were saying with the flyers and all that.
Yeah.
I could have paid someone to do it,
Yeah.
but it would have been a little bit more effective if I did it.
Absolutely.
So I did have a team out there with me,
Okay.
and I ran through and made it happen. Like, I feel like I get my hands dirty. I don't care. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you want to try to be successful, nothing comes easy, because if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love the grit to it, because it's just like a lot of times people that aren't even at a level of anything just feel like they're too good for it all.
Right.
And it's like you're never going to get anywhere thinking you're better than something you haven't even achieved. So it's like the fact that you took your team, you're out there, you're doing your thing, even though, like you're saying, I'm on the news, I'm on here, I'm on there, but I'm still actively going after what I need to do to get where I'm trying to get.
Sure.
That is just amazing to me, like, honestly. Because a lot of people, once they get to a certain level, they're like, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. And then they are wondering why their business is not flourishing. Because if you're the brand, if you're the face of it, people want to see you. People want to see you out. Yeah, I can send my representative. Yeah, I can send my assistant. But at the end of the day, they didn't go through the drama, the trauma, the whatever that you did. Yeah. So with you being on the forefront of it, it might not always be this way. Because as you elevate, you can't always be everywhere.
For sure.
But for the time being where you're supposed to be, you are. And I appreciate that, because you're still at the groundwork and you're relating to your fans.
Well, I think what happens with me, it doesn't matter how big my company gets. I mean, it's getting there right now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't really care how big it gets. I'm for the people, which is the reason why I still go to the barbershop. I still talk to everybody. Most of my connections came through the barbershop, so I still go there. I still communicate. And, you know, I go to colleges. I speak at colleges. I was at Penn State speaking. I just did Villanova.
Penn State.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got accepted.
Yeah, so I did Penn State. I did Villanova, you know, last semester. And, you know, I just feel like, you know, I want to try to put my voice out there no matter how big that the situation gets. Because I almost feel like when you think about, like, these major clothing brands, you don't never see the CEO.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Like, where is
I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be that. Like, when did you ever see Nike CEO going to the hood?
I don't even know who that is.
Right.
Exactly.
You're going to see Trump, though.
Yeah. So, you know, my thing is I'm going to continue to do that no matter how big the brand gets. I'm always going to be for the people.
I like that.
So.
Yeah, that's really dope. And I know you say you speak at colleges, but you also go and you speak, like, you know, to the correctional facilities.
Absolutely.
You still do that.
Yeah. And I got to tell you this story, right?
What's up?
I got to shout him out. As a matter of fact, I got his letter in the car. I don't really know how to say his real name. But this dude saw me on my true crime story and got his family to research me, to find me out, because he wanted to talk to me.
Okay.
And he's in a situation where he wants to be able to do what I did. And he had his sister and his mom hunt me down. And I ended up getting a phone call. It was like, you know, one of those like prison calls.
Okay.
And I thought it was one of my other homies that I was locked up with. So I answered the phone. He was like, yo, you don't know me, man, but I saw you on TV and, you know, I want to do this, and this. And I really just need your help. I talk to this dude twice a week.
Oh, I love that.
It's been going on for about a month now. And I just met him because he saw me on TV. You know what I mean? And it's like, the only reason I'm telling you that story is because I don't care about how big that it may seem that I got. I remember where I came from. I remember being in jail like it was just last year. And all I wanted was an opportunity. So if I can give anyone an opportunity, whether they're in jail, whether they're in the streets, whether they're in school, whatever it is, I'm going to talk to them. Because I want to see everyone successful, and I don't look at anyone as them being my competition because I don't feel like anyone's doing what I'm doing. Even if someone had a clothing brand, did what I did, I still feel like I'm going to do it differently.
Right.
So it's like I don't feel like I should hold anyone back from information or how to go about doing things. I'm going to expose everything I know if I can. You know what I mean? It's just the way I do it.
So speaking of that, like if somebody is watching or just even going piggybacking off of the guy that you're now mentoring, like what would be your first step you would say to somebody that is maybe looking for a sponsor or some grants to fund their business that they're trying to get up on?
What I would do first, and I know no one ever wants to hear this, I was even like this in this other story, but matter of fact, I'll tell the story and I'm going to go back to this.
Do your thing.
When I was in jail, I wanted to learn how to draw because I wanted to draw sneakers. I didn't want to draw anything else but sneakers. And then I went to an art class. And the art teacher was like, well, you got to do this first. Like, I want you to learn how to draw a flower. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to draw a flower. I want to draw sneakers. Like, teach me how to draw a fucking sneaker. I don't want to draw flowers. And he was like, you got to start from here because this is going to make your eye look better from when you're doing other things. And I was still so pissed off about it that I just didn't gravitate towards it, and I kept drawing my sneakers. But then after a while, I went back to the flower, and I eventually understood why I had to learn how to do flowers, portraits, and all this other stuff first before I got to the shoes. Once I mastered those things, when I went to my shoes, I got it like this, like with no problems. So the reason why I broke that down is because when you start your business, you need to know the ins and outs and everything of your business before you apply for a grant. If you don't know how much your merchandise is going to cost, how much the shipping is going to be, what you're going to do, what your marketing plan is, how you're planning on promoting it, who you're promoting it to, what's the age demographic, all these different things you need to know what you're doing before you apply for a grant. And most people just apply for the grants, and then when they get the money, they mess it up because they don't know what they're doing. So you need to know your business inside and out, and that's the main advice that I can give. Before you even think about money, you need to have all this stuff written out in the business plan.
Like,
Wow.
Y'all heard that,
The
right?
details.
For real.
Get your details.
The details. Wow.
And to this day, like even when I do a project, I go back and I have to like check off all the boxes. Like, who is my target demographic? How much money do they usually spend? You know what I mean? What's the age group? Like, what's my first step going to be once this merchandise comes back? I'm thinking about all this stuff before I even sketch the item. You know what I mean? And then it's like when I'm sketching, I already know who I'm sketching it for.
Right.
So now when I'm actually doing this particular hoodie or whatever, I know I'm going for this type of person that does this and they make this amount of money, and it could be male and female, and this is what it is that I'm going for. So I know exactly how to sketch it, and I put those things in place for that person that's going to spend that. So that's pretty much how I do my brand.
Wow. Okay. So, question for you: when it comes to the industry that you're in, and even any industry, do you have anybody who like inspires you or is like a mentor? Like, we all have our days. So who can, like, do you have people that you could just hit up like, hey, I'm going through this, you know, what do you think about it? Like anybody like that in your, you know, in your
It's
corner?
funny because I have a couple of people that I look up to and a couple of people that I can call on speed dial.
Okay.
One of the dudes that I look up to, and I know that a lot of black people may say things because they look at like, why are you, you know, communicating with so many other races, but I don't really look at black or white. I just do what I do.
Right.
You ever heard of a sneaker company called And1?
Yeah. I got a pair of sneakers.
All right, well, one of the owners, his name is Seth Berger. And And1 was created right up the street from my grandmother's house.
It was?
So, yeah, it's in Paoli or Malvern. They were going to say either Malvern or Paoli.
Damn.
And they actually had their headquarters in Paoli, which was probably about like 10, like not even 10. It was probably like a 7-minute walk from my grandmother's house. If you drive, it's 2 minutes away. That's where their headquarters was.
That was a whole movement with the N1 mixtape,
Yeah,
Stephon
exactly.
Marbury,
and like all the
Latrell.
players used to play in the gym that was right up the street from my grandmother's house.
Yeah.
So this guy Seth Berger that I'm telling you about, he started And1 in a garage at his mom's house or something like that. And I knew his story, I learned it, and I was like, you know what, I like this dude. And when I came home from jail, I knew all about him. So the first thing I did was try to find him. Come to find out, this dude, when they sold And1, he became a high school basketball coach at a high school that was like 20 minutes away from my house. So I shot him an email, no response. And I was like, you know, I'm going to the game. Waited for the game to be over, stepped straight to him and started talking to him. And now he's one of my mentors.
Wow.
Been talking to him ever since. Bernard Hopkins, the Hall of Fame boxer. That's my guy. Anytime I'm going through anything, I call him because he's the type of person. The very next day after I met him this one day, the very next day he was calling me at 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about, get the sheets out your ass. Get up. You want to be successful, you need to get up now. So he's one of them type of
he's like that.
Yeah. So it's like, when you want to try to get that motivation, you got to call B-Hop because he's the one that's going to do it for you. But, when it comes time for business and stuff like that, I have, like I told you, Seth, I have, one of the Sixers owners, his name is David Edelman. He was just at my office yesterday, so he's...
Yeah, I had called by accident.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, so he's one of my mentors. I didn't get a chance to really, meet him like that, but we was always emailing back and forth and stuff like that. But yesterday, we actually, really met and kicked it. So, him, and then I also what's that, Steve Madden?
Okay.
His story is crazy. He actually was in prison before,
that's
too.
the shoes I got on. People they still make them shoes? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
never
they
got
going to
asked
be
me that
around
the
for a
other
minute.
He was in prison before, too.
Oh, okay.
So, and from what I heard, he has former inmates and stuff that work for him.
So when you have all these meetings with the Eagles and the Sixers and just the, those type of meetings and whatnot, those are obviously business meetings and whatnot. Do y'all just strictly stick to what it is the agenda is gonna be? All right, for example, if I come in here, all right, this is what I'm bringing to the table. You're gonna hear it out. Yes or no? Or is it just y'all actually go through details and just things that you feel that you could pull from it? They may want to get something out of it. You're bringing that to the table. So it's like a negotiation, but it's not a negotiation. Or is it just straightforward black and white? Look, this is what we're going to do.
One thing that I learned is when you start to deal with the upper echelon of things, you don't have no time to bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You got to get straight to the point because their time is limited. Even when I had my meeting yesterday with the Sixers owner, I knew when he got up there just by his mannerisms that I ain't have him that long. So I had to get all my major stuff out on the floor before he got up and left.
Wow.
So when it came time for my meeting with the Eagles, Charlie Mack, I don't know if you guys know him. Charlie Mack's the one that walked me in there. And when I got in there, I always was told you have to have an elevator pitch. So you do the elevator pitch, and I think my elevator pitch is less than a minute. You know what I mean? I tell them everything that's going on in a minute, and then I show them what it is that I want to do. And then most of the time, they'll ask me questions after that, and I just answer them. But most of the time, it's just straight to the point. It's just no BS. You got to know your business. You got to know everything about your business, everything. Because, again, when you're dealing on some hood shit, you get the time to sit down and talk. And I'm not trying to shit on hood shit because I'm still hood myself. But it's when you're doing hood business, it's different. You got time to talk. You be playing around. You be bullshitting around. With these people, it's not like that, man. They too busy to bullshit, and you're not their friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's if you're not planning on helping them make more money, then you're not gonna be in the room. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. So I haven't learned that when I had a couple meetings with Neiman Marcus. It's you got to get straight to the point with these people and tell them what it is that you're trying to do because they're not gonna waste time with you.
Right. So that's I know you and we had a conversation and you were telling me about, and I'll let you tell the story. I'm just going to say Shark Tank, if you could. Yeah. If you could go over that. I mean, I don't know if you feel like divulging.
No, I have time. I told you. I'm going to talk about everything.
If you could let us know.
All right, so what happened was I had these sneakers called a 24 MK. If you go on Bungee Brand's website, you'll see a golden red sneaker that it's called a 24 MK, and I was wearing it this day. They weren't out yet. I didn't even have a website. Or I did have a website, but it was a real raggedy, cheap-looking website. So one of my friends came to the barbershop and asked me if I could help him move a TV. So I ended up going with him to this house. The house was huge. I'm going to show y'all the video of the crib when I get done.
Dope.
I want to hear the crib was huge. And I go inside. The living room was 18 living rooms in one. And it was this huge TV. So me and my friend is moving it. And this lady comes downstairs, and she just passed away recently, too. I'm actually going to her funeral on Friday. This woman right here is the reason why I'm on right now. Her name was Margot Keith. That's what the MK stands for, the 24 MK on the sneakers. And she loved the sneakers so much that she was like, yo, I want you to meet my husband. I had no idea who her husband was, but I knew he had to be rich as fuck because the house was crazy. So I ended up meeting him maybe 2 days later. I told him my story and was telling him everything about my background and all that. And I thought it was gonna like make him like, man, I ain't messing with this dude, you know what I mean? But he was like, nah, I know someone that was in your shoes a couple years ago, just like starting their business out. I want to introduce you to him. So I'm like, all right. Now he didn't say jail. He just said that he knew someone that started a business. So I'm like, all right, cool. So long story short, I ended up going to his office like a week later, and this dude was in this conference room, and there was like a long conference table, and it had, you know, a door in the front and a door in the back. And him and I are just sitting there bullshitting around, talking about sports and stuff, waiting for, you know, Bob to come in. And as we're waiting, people are coming through the back door, and they're all coming in, sitting down, introducing themselves. And I don't know who these people are. I'm like, the hell's going on? But I'm still talking. Yeah, my name's Darrell Alston. Nice to meet you. Da, da, da. So then finally Bob comes in. When Bob comes in, there's already 14 people in the room. I'm sitting there with a bag, you know, full of sneakers. And he was like, yo, I see you guys all, you know, met Darrell. Did he tell you a story? And they was like, nah. So I started telling them about how I was in and out of jail. I was trying to do this and do that, and I was trying to make things happen. And then one of the dudes that was across from me was like, so if you got on, would you tell your story to people? And I was like, nah, I ain't trying to tell nobody I was in jail. Like, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Because it is. Like, I kind of feel like I wasted a lot of time. That's one of the reasons why I don't like divulging my age. Because I kind of feel like I fucked up my life so much that I don't even like talking about how old that I am. I just want to live my life. I don't even want to think about it. Because I always feel like when you're in your early 20s, you always want to, like, have a plan for your dream. Like, you have a dream. By the time you turn 30, you want to accomplish certain things. I didn't get there because I was in jail. I was in jail on my 30th birthday. So that's why I'm just like, you know, I just have a salty taste about it. So anyway, to get back to the story, they're just asking me all these questions. I'm like, nah, I don't want to talk about it. And dude was like, look, man, I think that you need to share this story with the world. You could probably inspire some people, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then I started showing them my sneakers and all that, and it was all on them, right? And this is like in the beginning. This is before I even had any like real good quality. And it gets back to, but would you tell your story though? And I'm like, nah, I don't want to tell my story, you know what I mean? And they was like, well, listen, if he tells a story, I'm in. And I didn't even know what that meant. So the dude, Bob, was like, yo, like, how come you don't want to tell your story? So I told him, and they was like, man, you got to tell your story to inspire some people. But if he does, how many of y'all in this room are down? And all of them in the room said that they was down. There was one lawyer, there was 2 financial people, and all the rest of the people was investors. Damn. So I basically went in front of a Shark Tank and didn't know that I was in front of a Shark Tank. And all of them decided to put money up. And at that particular moment, I went with the 2 financial people, told them what my plans were, and they were like, yo, for the first round of funding, you need at least $1.2 million. So Bob and them said they were going to raise the $1.2 million, or they was going to, like, the people that was in that room, they were going to put the $1.2 million up, and we were going to go from there. And I walked up out of there with $1.2 million dip.
And you just thought you was going over your homegirl's house.
Yeah, exactly.
Meet her husband.
Yeah. And you know, for real, it's like I've been through so much stuff in my life that even when I walked out, I was excited.
Yeah, she was still.
Yeah, like, I'm like, man, this shit ain't real.
Yeah, like, fuck it, I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
Yeah, fact.
So then, you know, in true Bungee fashion, you know how I always get up on VH1, and then I go back to jail. It was exactly like that. I get the $1.2 million, situation. We're working things out. We're going over my plans. I got, all these different people in place where we got financial people. We got a COO. We got all these different people that's going to work for me that these people, put in place for me.
Right.
Right after we ended up getting my office and getting the furniture and everything in there, they gave me maybe like $50,000 or something to start. Okay. And I went and I got this not a loft, but it was like an old warehouse type office. And I mean, the ceilings are super high. It's like made out of brick and wood. Okay. So I got that. Right after I put all my furniture in there, Donald Trump said we had to shut down for 2 weeks. And as soon as my investors saw that shutdown, they was like, we never saw anything like this before in our lifetime. We're out. Damn. So all I had was that $50,000 that they gave me, and I spent $15,000 on their embroidery machine, and then I had like sewing machines and some other things that I bought. So I was like, damn, I'm back to the drawing board, but I do have this 50, so I got to make something with that. Right. And I didn't have 50 anymore; it was like 35.
Right.
So what I did was I paid the full year of rent. So that way I knew I had the building to the end of the year.
Right.
And then I was like, all right, it's lockdown. I'm just gonna go on YouTube. I'm just gonna learn everything. Okay. So I went on YouTube, and the shutdown went from 2 weeks to a year. So that whole year, every single day, I was going down to my office. I was sleeping down there, got a mattress and everything up in that joint. And I just learned. And I just stayed on my grind for that whole year. So by the time that year was up, I perfected the embroidery machine. I can cut and sew. I can, design sneakers better. Like, I'm making shirts and stuff from scratch. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was just way different after that year was up. And then that's when I was able to go to Vegas for a trade show. And that trade show changed my life.
Yeah.
It changed my life. Because what happened was because of COVID, I ended up going like 2 days early because I was going to the Magic show. Mm-hmm. And I've already been there plenty of times. I wasn't expecting to get any kind of connects. I just wanted to see what the newest merchandise was that was out and how I would compete with it. And I wasn't really happy because I was getting all my stuff from China. And I really wanted to be able to have like Italy on there and have like a really high-end brand instead of it being like a mid-range polyurethane leather type brand. And I get to Vegas, I'm in the hotel, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna walk around because the event doesn't start for like another 2 days. So I go downstairs and I'm walking up the street and I'm seeing all these people going into this hotel. So I'm like, let me go in there and be nosy. I'm by myself. I didn't have anybody with me, I was by myself. And I go into this thing and you had to pay to get in. I paid to get in, and it was a full event on high level manufacturers for sneakers. I fell into it, bro. Like I never knew that it even existed. Damn. And to this day, I still don't even know what the event was, but I ended up getting like 5 manufacturers out of there, and that's how I began my high-end luxury brand. Wow. Because I just happened to fall into it. They didn't even speak English. There were interpreters in there that was talking for them, and I'm just like, yo, like I didn't even know this even existed. So after I got done doing that, I didn't even want to go to the Magic show anymore. I was out. I got my connects and rode out of there the next day, took a flight home early. I didn't even go to the Magic show.
Damn.
That's beautiful. That was a whole blessing in disguise. Like that shutdown was really what you needed. At first it seemed like a devastation, but it ended up turning into everything you needed. You wouldn't have been able to perfect it the way like that because it would have been moving so fast had it not happened. So. And
then what was crazy was after I got the first sneaker drop from that first manufacturer, my level of material was just so dope. Like the sneaker was like, it was like Gucci. Like it was on that level. So I'm like, man, I'm ready to drop something now. Mm-hmm. So we ended up doing this drop, and I ended up like going to the sneaker store, and I was like, yo, like, can you just put my sneaks in here, man? Like, please, I'm begging this dude. So the owner let me put them in there. It was like this high-end store on, I want to say it was like, was it Market Street? Walnut Street in Philly.
Okay.
So it was called Blue Soul Shoes. And like this Blue Soul shoes, they sell nothing but high-end stuff. So it's like, you ain't gonna find nothing in there less than like $500. Damn. So I'm sliding my shoe in there. And the day that we were gonna release the shoes, one of our publicists ended up getting Channel 3 to come out to like, do a little interview. But because COVID was like in the heat of the moment, no one could come into the store. And all of us had to have masks and stuff on. Right. And there was only like 2 people allowed in each store. So they came outside, they interviewed me, and they was like, look, man, you're only going to be on for like 10 seconds, so you got to say what you got to say. So I had my sneaker, and I said, my name is Darrell Alston. Come down to Blue Soul Shoes, check my shoes out. I made these in jail. And that was it. That was it.
That sound like an Instagram reel.
Hey, bro, listen. When I tell you I got in and out, and when I got in and out, they played it at 6 o'clock that night. And when they played it at 6 o'clock that night, whoever the news anchor was, I think it was someone named Yuki Washington.
Okay.
And him and this other girl named Jessica was like the ones that said it. And I'm telling you, it was a quick 8-second thing, but out of nowhere, Jessica Cartaglia, which was one of the news anchors, said, yo, I got my own TV show. I want you to come on the show and talk about this. You're like, you had me really intrigued with what happened out of that one little 8-second clip. So I want to say maybe like a week later, we ended up doing like a full hour show with her. And it aired on Channel 3 out our way. And Channel 3 is like a major show. So after that aired, no bullshit, every single channel in Philadelphia, Channel 6, Channel 10, 17, 29, everybody wanted to interview me about my story because they was like, yo, like you created this when you was in prison.
Right.
So that's how everything started. And then I got hit up by Inside Edition. Okay. So I did, Inside Edition. And then when Inside Edition aired, that's a national show. So when that aired, the CEO of Foot Locker saw it. So when he saw it, him and his team immediately reached out to me and was like, yo, we want to put you on Foot Locker. So we ended up doing the Foot Locker launch. The shoe brand ended up blowing up within 2 hours, but there was still like a whole bunch of bullshit that happened where it was like King of Prussia Mall, which is like one of the biggest malls around, period. We launched a Foot Locker there, And they had like the super heavy security like the mall did. So like everyone was like locked in kind of. Like they was like super overprotective thinking that it was going to be some kind of rowdy shit. And Power 99, which is one of the radio stations out there, they were supposed to come out and host it. DJ Diamond Cuts was going to DJ.
Okay.
And when I got there, Foot Locker shut everything down. Diamond Cuts couldn't perform. Power 99 couldn't come in there.
Wow.
They was only letting like 2 or 3 people in the store at once. And I'm like, damn. So I go out there, I'm standing in, like inside the store, and I'm like, damn, no one's even gonna come now. And before I knew it, my chief of staff came up to me. She was like, yo, do you understand what's going on outside? And I was like, nah. And she was like, yo, the line is going all the way down the hall and around the corner. And I didn't even know I even had that much like juice at the time. But like, I guess because everybody kept seeing me on TV, the name just kept popping and popping in Philly. So there was hundreds of people out there with masks on coming in to try to get pictures with me and all that. And we ended up breaking sales records for the 2 hours that I was there.
Wow.
And then shortly after that, being as though I got that Italy manufacturer, I was like, I want Neiman Marcus. So we ended up doing Neiman Marcus. I got linked up with them, and we did a deal with them. And then we ended up doing a Neiman Marcus launch, and within 4 hours, we made like 25 grand. So it's just been popping ever since. And that's how everything started to go for us. And then after that, Nick Cannon found out about it through Fox 29. Fox 29 brought me on the show. If you look it up, you see, Darrell Alston gifted Nick Cannon sneakers on Fox 29.
Okay.
You'll see like the whole like exchange because they aired it. And Nick Cannon loved the story so much and loved everything about the shoes that the next thing you know, like that Monday, I was on the Nick Cannon show. Wow. So everything it was just going so fast that I didn't even get a chance to even understand what was happening as it was happening. You know what I mean? So we're getting national exposure, we're getting all kind of stuff. And then I don't want to keep speedballing it because I know you guys have questions. But then like right after I did the Nick Cannon show, I was like, you know what, let me go to the BET Awards. And I get to the BET set, and the first 2 people I see is Rashad and Troy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like, yo, I'm a fan of y'all. I'm trying to get on. I was just on the Nick Cannon show. And as soon as I said that, they was like, yo, we trying to get you on. That Monday, I was on Earn Your Leisure. So it was just happening back to back to back to back to back. Where to the point I didn't even get a chance to even breathe. It was just
It sounded like, listen, we can't breathe.
Then it was like, after I did all the Earn Your Leisure stuff and, we did their events and all that, the next thing you know, someone's in my inbox on Instagram saying, we want to put you on VH1. And I'm like, don't you want to put me on VH1 for? Like, I didn't get it. And it was real. Like, dude was like, yo, like, I want to put you on this show. And he told me what the show was. And then, me and my team, we researched it. And then I came to find out that it was Remy's show. And I was already a fan of the show. And after about 9 interviews,
Remy did some great commentary on that, too.
I was a little bit mad about some of it, but it was cool. You know what I mean? I ain't like how she tried to play me on the LL thing.
She was like, nah.
Yeah,
She was like,
exactly. That's not giving LL. Like, okay, well, you gonna put LL on after he done made millions. Put LL on when he was 16. You know what I'm saying? LL looked just like me when he was 16.
She got you in a couple comments.
She got me.
Remy's cool though. I did a movie with her. Shout out to Remy. And as soon as I pulled up, she was like, "Oh, I see you with the Tesla. What's up?" And she was like, "Hey, little Trina." So to this day, she called me little Trina. So like Remy's cool. She's real down to earth. Cool. Yeah, for sure. Cool. But also, like, since you was just running stuff down, like, you, Al Roker has a new show, too, that you were on, and it's called
How did you find that out?
Listen, I do my job, and it says, it's Returning Citizens, so that's going to be on PBS. So, I'm a fan, I'm a news girl, so I'm a fan of Al Roker, and, just to see that you are going to be on that show, like, that's super dope. Like, how did that go?
That was another situation. They came to us. And one of his producers was like telling me that it was Al Roker's show, and then he was telling me that Al Roker wanted sneakers and all that stuff. So I ended up sending some sneaks out for him, and I wanted to go to them, but they wanted to come to my office. So it was already been filmed. We already aired. I think it might have aired already, if I'm not mistaken, or it's going to soon. Okay. I don't know if it did, but it's going to. But yeah, so that's pretty much how it came about. They asked us, and they gave me like a rundown of what they wanted to do at my office, and that was pretty much it. They came with a full camera crew. It was huge.
I love it.
That's dope.
Yo, like,
I'm a fan of Al Roker too. So when
Yeah,
I found
like-
out that they were interested in doing me, I was like, damn, like you really picked me out of all these beautiful people in the world. You gonna come to me?
Yeah.
So it was a blessing, and I'm definitely excited about it. And then I'm also excited because they're gonna rerun it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
you-
Yeah, they already told me it was gonna be reran for like 5 years or something.
Oh, well, that's
Dang, you got a whole
Well, you
contract.
definitely returning. Like, that's crazy. But also, you got to deal with New York bestseller Charlie Hustle. Well, it was written by Keith O'Brien and Kenneth O'Brien. No, Keith O'Brien.
Keith O'Brien.
So how was that experience? I know, like, you guys are going to package his book.
Yeah, that
with
was
your
crazy.
stuff.
That was crazy because it wasn't planned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I ended up doing the Phillies jerseys, the number 14 Charlie Hustle jersey, and I found out that he had a book that was coming out, and it was like at a library that was like around the corner from my house. So when I found out about it, I went over there and I had a Charlie Hustle jacket for him. So I sat through the whole event, and then when it was over, I walked up to him, I gave him the jacket, but I gave him my elevator pitch. And when he saw my elevator pitch, he was like, yo. So the next day, he put the picture up of me and him together, and then he told his publisher about me. And then the publisher company reached out to me and was like, yo, like, are you interested in doing like a joint venture? And, are you interested in trying to package everything together and we can do this and do that? And then we ironed out a deal, and that's pretty much how it took off. And now because of that deal, now I'm in the process of working on the book.
Yes. So you got like multiple books, kind of like, is it one a self-help like? From...
Well, the first one I'm doing like a life story one, but then I'm going to do like a business one and some other stuff. But I'm just working on the first one right now.
Okay. Can you give us exclusive on the name?
Nah.
I was waiting for that.
Listen, you gotta ask,
Nah, I'm still like in the early stages of it, so
Okay.
it could change. I don't want to put it out there and then not be that.
Absolutely.
Because I think I'm only about like 3 chapters in right now.
Okay.
So once I get a little bit more of the book done, then I'll start announcing stuff.
Now, being that, you were already basically a writer because you're an artist, like, how do you feel like the book writing process is going now?
It was fun at first, and then after I did my first 2 chapters, it wasn't fun anymore. And what I mean by that is, it's like when I got the first 2 chapters to our publishing agent, and my chief of staff actually is a writer as well. So when they started giving me like a rundown of all the different things that I needed to do and what I needed to think about and what I needed to put in the plan, I didn't like it because it seemed like it's too structured.
Understood.
For me, when I first started writing it, it was like I was just going off the top of my head and I'm just writing like what my thoughts were and what was actually going on. And then it was like, I have to have like every single character that I'm going to talk about. I have to have all that written out. I have to have a full description of who they are and what, they weigh and what their height is. And I'm like, I don't remember all that. You know what I mean? Some of the people we talking about is not even alive anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when I had to put all that kind of thought into it, it just kind of like, deflated me a little bit. I'm going to get it done. But it was like, it slowed my whole writing process up because, if I'm telling a story, I'm going off the top of my head telling you what I remember and I'm telling you all these different things. But it's like, even like the title, it could change.
Yeah.
So I could like make this list of people out, but I might get to that part of the story and not want to talk about that. I might talk about something else because I have stories for days.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like my life has been so crazy. I could talk about, being in the house with, my 8 aunts and uncles. I could talk about being in prison. I could talk about being on tour. I could talk about, everything. Like the football life. It's so many different things that I could talk about that I don't even know where I'm going right now.
I understand that.
Okay. So with all of that being said, what's next? Like, what do you like looking into the future? What is one of the things that you may want to like conquer aside from what you're already doing? Like, is there anything that any lane that you want to tap into?
That's a good question. As of right now, the only thing I really want to do is I want to blow this brand up as much as I can.
Okay.
And then eventually sell and move on.
Oh, wow. So
one of the things that is discouraging to people that even work for me, they're just like, we don't want you to think like that. And for me, I've been hustling and grinding since I was 14, bro. Like, I want to sit down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to get my money, get my bag, and go live on South Beach somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And just relax. I don't want to have to stress. I don't want to have to go through the ups and downs anymore. I don't want to have to go through the anxiety because, one of the things that happens is like, remember how you said something about when your money gets low and you start getting anxiety?
You start panicking like, yo.
All right, well, think about it on a different scale. The same way that you panicked, it's like if you do a release in Neiman Marcus and your thing is blowing up and you ended up selling 25 grand in 4 hours, what do you think you're going to be thinking when you go do the next Neiman Marcus launch? If you don't do that or better, you're going to be stressed the hell out.
Yeah.
And you're going to be stressing the whole time because if you don't make that, it's going to be considered a failure.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the more success that we get, the more afraid that I'm getting. That's the best way I can kind of explain it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's not fun anymore. So it's like I was excited to go to Foot Locker. My people was going to be there. I was excited to go to Neiman Marcus. It was the first time that a black entrepreneur, especially from our neighborhood, was in Neiman Marcus, but now it's business. And if you don't make those, those numbers work, you can get kicked out the business. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They'll cut you.
So it's a lot more stressful now than it's ever been. And I just don't want to have to keep going through it. You know what I mean?
So it's constant pressure at every level, like, and it only like intensifies, basically.
Right. So, I'd be cool with like, possibly designing one shoe a year. You know what I mean? Like dropping like, a Bungee Brand shoe once a year or something like that. I would do something like that. But like, I really just want to fall back, man. I did too much hustling.
Wow.
And I know I'm not, at the age of retirement, but I'm just tired, bro. I want to chill. I want to, because you got to remember, man.
Been
like,
running around forever.
Yeah, and you got, here's the thing. When I was selling drugs from the time that I was 14 all the way up until, my last arrest, I never really left my neighborhood. When I was doing those tours, I never got a chance to really see anything. I kind of was just like, going to these different states. I could say I've been there, but I never really been there. You know what I mean? So, as of right now, I just want to be able to get out and see the world and see things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I remember when I went to the BET Awards that year that I met Earn Your Leisure, I was just amazed, like just looking at the sky, looking at the palm trees, like, because I never seen it before.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like when we went and did shows in LA, I didn't even get a chance to even go out to even see that. Like, you be seeing like those long streets with the palm trees that's a mile long and all that. I never seen any of that in person. So for me to, to go see stuff like that, it like made me realize I want to see more of the world instead of just hustling all the time.
I like that.
So that's my ultimate goal.
Got you. It's time to explore. It's time to like, look, I'm going here. Here's the itinerary.
Right.
I'm out of here.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, shoot, I think that's everybody's goal at this point or another, because nobody want to sit up here and like sweat, blood, sweat, and tears every single day, and it's like, yo, you don't even get a chance to enjoy it
at all.
in the moment.
One of the things I've been facing lately, a lot of people that I know are starting to pass away. Older guys, younger guys, even my age. And I'm realizing now that it's like you don't have forever. Like every day is like if you wake up in the morning or even make it home at night, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, I lost at least within the last 4 months, I lost 7 people that I was cool with. And it just keeps happening back to back to back. And it's just like, when you think about like that bridge that collapsed and stuff like that, it's like, things can happen, bro. Like you can sit there and tell your girl or your dude, I'm gonna talk to you later, and later might not come. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's time to enjoy every minute of my life instead of worrying about selling some sneakers.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yo, seriously, like,
in
look.
retrospect to everything, literally.
You ain't lying. You not lying about that. Okay. Well, I know, you gonna bring the stuff out?
I know, like, because I was like, you talk about sneakers, like, you gotta show the podcast the sneakers. Did you bring any sneakers in here?
Of course I did. Well, the thing that's crazy, right? I'm not gonna sit there and make it seem like, I just randomly just picked this stuff. I got a list.
Oh, yeah.
Mango
so, yeah. So somebody went through my website and was like, I want this, and this.
Oh,
all right, cool.
man.
I got you.
Come on, you gotta spoil
now,
it.
this right here,
sure.
I don't even make these anymore. We made this
damn.
right here. This is Ablacheni shirt dress. It's a little bit wrinkled, but it has buttons and stuff on the side and all that. I don't even make those anymore. I made that maybe like 4 years ago.
Okay.
That's the only one that I had left, and she actually asked for that size, so I ended up bringing that.
See, that's a classic. That's a throwback. That's a classic.
This right here, this is one of our Ablacheni cardigan sweaters. This is a male and female cardigan sweater.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is one of our top sellers at Neiman Marcus. So...
It's cheesing.
And the feel, like, you gotta tell these people what this is made out of, like.
Yeah, that's made out of cashmere and wool.
Okay.
All right.
And then we have a pair of Ablacheni sneakers that was requested You see it has Albuquerque on there. You see that?
Okay.
And again, this was something that
Chris, come in here.
this is something that she requested. And this is peach
Oh man.
tan with perforated leather.
Yeah.
And that's one of our exclusives. That was in Neiman Marcus as well.
That's dope.
That even matches your outfit right now.
We got our photographer Chris
Yeah.
in here, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah, that matches right now.
Yes, okay.
So,
As you see, Mingo got good taste. You already know.
yeah.
And I appreciate
sure.
you. We appreciate you for
No
sure.
problem.
I can't wait to rock these, get my shoes on and everything.
I gotta put my order in. Don't worry about it.
Nah,
I'm
man.
put my order in.
I appreciate it.
Definitely. Cause I saw a couple already that I was eyeing on the
Definitely his
site.
Style for sure.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves colorful things.
As of right now, every pair of sneakers that we have is $100 right now.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's it?
Usually we didn't have anything less than $325. And what I wanted to do, I think I told you a little bit about it yesterday. Since I'm starting to venture off into doing the bungee sports stuff, I kind of wanted to get rid of, the Albuquerque stuff that we had, and I'm just going to start a whole new collection. You know what I mean?
So you
that's
gonna
why-
give-
Okay,
You
with a
gonna
whole new name?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about a whole new collection of sneakers.
Understood.
So, these are all models that we put out. This is our most recent one right here.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, I really want to just try to get rid of everything that's there and just start a whole new collection of sneakers, not the brand.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're keeping the name brand.
Okay.
We're just doing a new collection of
We know he
sneakers.
likes to switch up names, as he's saying, with his book and stuff.
I think I could relate to that. I
Yeah.
think you just like to create. I
Yes.
think like you just like to constantly recreate. Where most people they get stuck in the same type
Right.
of mindset and model.
Well, that's the funny thing that you say, right? Because, like, I don't understand how, and I'm not bashing anyone. Trust me when I tell you this. I'm not disrespecting anything. But I don't understand how everybody gets so excited when Jordans drop. Because it's the same Jordans over and over and over and over and over again. Sometimes they may change the color. I'm the kind of person, I get bored with the same stuff. I can't keep rocking the same Jakes. I can't. And then on top of that, if I know that everyone's going to have them, if they're not customized, I'm not wearing them. So back when Jordans and all that stuff was popping, when everybody had it, I was wearing shell tops, bro. I wasn't wearing any Jordans. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, when I walk into a room, I want to be the only one with my shit. I don't want to have a whole room full of people. But you'll be surprised by how many people only want what everyone else has.
That's the truth.
Because they're afraid to walk around in something different. For me, I'm different.
Yeah.
I already know that when I walk into a room, no one's going to have on what I have on.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it depends on what kind of person you are, but I don't wait for someone else to get something. And I'm telling you, there's way more people that will wait to see what someone else is rocking before they get it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And to touch on what you were saying, Soto, basically you were saying that your mind is very broad, and I seen that you refer to your line as art. So like that just makes sense of why you're over here, you're over there. This is art. You're creating something. This is not just a clothing line to you. Like
Right.
this is speaking to you. It's speaking to other people.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that.
That's definitely what it is. Because
Yeah.
like when I did this shoe, or a couple different shoes, I mix so many different materials that's not even supposed to be mixed together, but I do it anyway. You know what I mean? It would be taboo for certain people to do that.
Yeah,
You know what I
big
mean?
time.
And for me, it's like I be having, python, velour, suede. I be having all these different materials all on one shoe. You know what I'm saying? Ostrich. It doesn't really matter. Like whatever it is that I'm feeling at that particular moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm not following any rules. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, boom, there it is.
I like
Don't
it.
follow no rules. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, I know you do.
I like it because it's like you
Gotta
box
be
yourself
you.
in. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
well, basically the way that I feel about my clothes and my sneakers is like making a song. If you make one song and you're an artist and you really love what you're doing, are you just gonna be happy with that one song, or you gonna keep making more stuff? And in your mind, you're gonna feel like every single new song that you do is better than your last one. So that's how I feel. Like whenever I create something, I feel like it's better than the last thing that I did because that's my goal. You know what I mean? So it's like for me to like stay in the same box doing the same thing, it gets boring. You know what I mean? But when it comes time for certain things, you like even if it's an old hit record,
Okay.
even Will Smith has to go back and perform getting jiggy with it.
Yeah,
And all that.
yeah.
So it's like
Men in
for me,
Black, he just did that.
yeah. So for me, I understand, and I'm gonna have to keep these
Not Men in Black.
items.
He just did that.
Yeah, I understand. I got to keep these items, but I also want to try to move on and do other things.
Absolutely.
Respectively. Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, I was thinking, like, what's next for you? But I guess you'll probably move on to a different chapter. Now it's kind of
Right.
like, all right, now I'm going to do something for me versus, like, for everybody else. I already gave everybody else what I needed to give them. So I did my, I gave my time, my effort, and everything like that, and creativity.
Right.
So salute to you on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Definitely for stopping through and bringing, products and whatnot. Because I be telling people when y'all come through, bring products just to like market and just advertise it. You definitely could always come back here or shoot, we could come out.
Man. I feel like I'm home right now, so I'm definitely gonna come back.
Yeah. We could come out.
And y'all can definitely
come to you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I want to come through to the office. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully,
my office
you got a whole little
like
setup.
a showroom.
Yeah,
it's like a showroom.
It is.
Yeah.
All
He showed me video. It's dope.
We gonna definitely do that. We'll pop up when you're not, with one of the GMs or nothing.
You good? Y'all family, man. So whenever y'all ready, just come through. It's all good.
Unless you want us to record something like that.
Hey, listen, if I'm in town, I'm there every day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm there every day. Sometimes I even sleep there if I have to. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
If you guys are able to come out, just let me know when you come in and I got you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so but before we wrap up, man, I just want to ask you to just let everybody know, like, just all of your socials, also, where they can go and find the product too.
All right, cool. So if you want to look for the Bungee Ablachieni line, go to bungeebrand.com, BUNGEEBRAND.com. If you're looking for the sports merch that we're doing, the jerseys, the custom stuff, that's Bungee USA, BUNGEEUSA.com. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Bungee Brand, BUNGEEBRAND. And then I just started my personal page maybe a month or so ago. That's CEO Darrell Alston, CEO DARRELLALSTON. And our Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, is Bungee Raiment, which is RAIMENT.
All right. And is there anything coming up that we need to know about, like any announcements or anything that you want the people?
Yeah, I have a bunch of new announcements coming up. I just was talking to David Edelman, which was the Sixers owner, yesterday, so I'm going to be doing something with the Sixers for the upcoming season. I have something going on with the Eagles for their upcoming season. We're doing a joint effort between me, Neiman Marcus, and the Eagles when that happens sometime in September. So I'm just trying to gear up for that, and I'm also going to Atlanta in August to do the Earn Your Leisure convention.
Oh, that's dope.
Okay.
So if you
guys have to talk.
Yeah, we go.
If you
wrap.
guys go to Atlanta, you gotta check that out because their thing is powerful. Over there.
Yeah, they came out here. He was with them last year when they came out here. Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know how to. Once again, Aaron made that happen, and Chris Simon. Oh yeah, we did the 19 Keys as well. Legend, she did that. Lee did that. So it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. I don't know, Jazz, if you got anything you wanna.
All right, y'all, just want to let you know this episode was sponsored by Mingo Mania Productions. Also, if you're trying to find me, you can go to JASZY, Mingo like your favorite fruit. And also, if you're trying to find my apparel, it's Jazzy Mingo Curvy Fit. See y'all soon.
Shout out to my son Chris over here,
Yes,
snapping
Chris.
the pictures, you know what I mean? If y'all need a photographer, videographer, holla at him, because I ain't doing it. I appreciate him coming out and having the time, because I know he be busy too. So once again, Darrell, I really appreciate you coming through, telling your story.
Man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Jazzy Mango, Digital Empath Studios, M. Soto, Gillionaire, shout out to him. He's busy too. But other than that, I appreciate everybody, and we out.